I like titties and you like titties. We're in the same boat here. I know that's kind of weird for, Christian YouTube channel, right? But, all these other Christian YouTube channels, it's just someone in the front of the camera like, hey everybody, I have this whiteboard in front of me and it has a bunch of Bible verses on it. And we're going to go over how to get over your sexual sin. So let's get started. Like, bro, that's not relatable. What's relatable is what I'm doing right now, all right? I like titties, you like titties, okay? Let's start with that. We understand that. But you also probably understand that you should wait until marriage. Alright, it's probably the best thing to do, but at the same time, you're kind of like, well, if the Bible didn't say to do that, I probably would do it because, sleeping around seems fun, right? Who wouldn't want that? I like girls, and why wouldn't I want to be around a bunch of naked girls? That seems amazing. And I reasoned like that for a very long time. And I've done a pretty good job of not slipping up. I have limited social interactions, but I have plenty of opportunities to slip up. Because, just look at me. Obviously, women throw themselves at me. But recently, I feel like I finally understand the reason why the Bible says it. Because there's a difference between understanding what the Bible says, which is just saying, well, yeah, the Bible says not to do it. There's a difference between that and understanding why the Bible says not to do it. And I finally understood that. And no Christian has ever explained it in this way. So, even if you aren't a Christian, you're going to be astonished by the reason here. This is simple logic. Alright? And I'm going to tell you how I came to this conclusion. So, I was watching a Hamza video because I'm doing competitor research. Alright, I want to make it. So, I'm trying to see, okay, how thumbnails, titles, etc. And I was watching this video where he's talking about how he sleeps with too many girls, right? And he made a point about your soul splitting every time you sleep with a girl. So every time you sleep with a girl, like, your soul splits with that girl. And I've spoken to other people who are Christians and non-Christian. They kind of articulate the same thing. You've probably noticed a pattern between of these high-value men, right? And some of them I consider actually high value, and some not so much. I know some people are like, oh, you're using red pill terms. It's so toxic. I don't care. All right, you know what I mean. And I've listened to them talk about the sleeping with women. They kind of say something similar. It's like they feel empty after doing it. They have, like, really bad PNC. And things just started clicking. I put two and two together. And I realized something. Sleeping around with women is simping. I know. I know, that sounds absolutely crazy to say, but think about it. It actually makes sense. Alright? So I'm going to make a whole video about simping, but simping, the equation is very simple for simping. It's when you are giving way more value to a girl than she's giving to you. Okay? It's when you treat her nice and give her all this value and all this attention when she doesn't deserve it. So an example would be, and everyone gets simping wrong, because they're like, well, simping is when you give a girl flowers. It's like, no, that's not what simping is. Simping is when you give a girl flowers after she just cheated on you. For an extreme example, or you give her flowers despite her misbehaving and being rude and etc. What's not simping is her behaving, being sweet, being amazing, and then giving her flowers. That's an equal exchange. If anything, you're actually winning the exchange. And I think relationships work the best when men are winning the exchange, because that puts the man in the position of power, so to speak. And that's how relationships should be. This is why relationships have gone down the tubes, because now it's flipped. Women are now in a position of power. Now the women are leading the relationships. That's not going to go well. And I know I'm not supposed to say something like that, but I keep it real here, okay? Women are supposed to be leading relationships. You can deduce that by your own reasoning. You don't even need the Bible to tell you that. It's so obvious. Just look at, women leading relationships went like this. And then relationship quality went. Just look around, alright? You don't need me to tell you that. Just be honest with yourself, right? But anyways, that's what simping is. Giving attention, undeserved value and attention. Now, think about your soul. It is true. You don't have to use, because if you're not all religious and you like using the word soul, okay, think about your value. Like, your body. Adding a body to your body count. That's a very valuable thing, because pair bonding exists in men. Not as much as women, but pair bonding still exists with men. It's like every time you have intercourse with a woman, it's like you give them a part of yourself. I would say soul, but you could say whatever else you want, okay? Now, what is more valuable than that? We can use Jesus' quote, what's more valuable than your soul? I mean, you could reason yourself. I mean, adding a body to your body count, giving a part of yourself to another person, that's more valuable than giving a girl flowers, isn't it? It's like one of the most valuable things you have. It's more valuable than money, the flowers, as I say, your time, your attention, a part of yourself. What is more valuable than that? So, if a girl must be worthy to get flowers, she must be worthy to get a part of you, to get a part of your soul. And then I was doing this equation in my head and I just clicked. Wait, the Bible says, this is what the Bible says. When you marry a woman, you become one flesh with her. And then that's why intercourse is saved for marriage. Because you give a part of your soul to the woman when you have intercourse with her. And when you marry her, you become one flesh with her. So when you do this 50-50 thing, that's how it's supposed to be. Because it's one, comes with one. Now it's one person in a 50-50. It's like one flesh, 50% of this person, 50% of this person. When you have intercourse, that's what happens. You split the soul with them. So everything just clicked together. It's like, wow. So this means, if I'm going to sleep with a woman, she must be worthy of splitting my soul with. And the truth is, 99.99% of women aren't worthy of that. Okay? You are expecting this woman to, act amazing, do all these things for you, etc. Just to get some flowers from you, just to get some attention from you. But all she has to do is give it up in order for you to want to get into the coochie. Because that's really how it is, okay? Most of these dudes, even these dudes who are on self-improvement, are actually, doing well in life. If a girl were to DM like, oh, come over and, do this with me, they would do it. Even if the girl's low quality. Right? Because it's just a body, right? You just sleep with her. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. That's the lie that we've been sold. Okay? The funny thing about feminism is that, because, feminism, it's obviously a lie. It's like you're telling women to do all these different things. But one of those things is, be, promiscuous, and that's giving you power, etc. And all of us men who are real are looking at it like, whoa, don't do that. Your virginity is very valuable. Don't sleep around. That's bad. You're going to lose value as a woman. But men have actually been told the same lie. But it's just been packaged in all this fancy wrapping, like, oh, you're going to be high value. You're not going to be a simp. You're going to be cool. You're going to be the man. That's how it's been packaged. So, I know a lot of you are hearing me saying, simping is, sleeping with a bunch of women is simping. You may be like, he's crazy. No one says that. No one says that because we've been fed a lie. When we go because I'm trying to, this is a one-to-one example, okay? Imagine you're a woman, okay? Imagine you're a woman and you go into a feminist space. And you start saying, hey, we shouldn't be sleeping around with all these men. Imagine what they would say to you. They'd say the same thing that you're thinking in your head right now. We're being tricked, okay? It's not just women that are being tricked. We're being tricked too. Pair bonding exists for men, just like women. Not as powerfully, but it still exists, okay? People I've spoken to have affirmed that, all right? It's very valuable. Splitting your soul, there's nothing more valuable than that. If you're going to split your soul with someone, they better be perfect. And if they're perfect, you should be marrying them. They better have the personality you want, the looks you want, etc. Have high standards, okay? I've always been told, your standards are high, your standards are high. Well, yeah. I value myself. Have the same mindset. Alright? Because we tell a woman, be better. Make your standards higher, have the man actually stay around and actually, value the body. But we don't do it, do we, as men? I mean, I do. I'm a virgin. But, other men don't. Some IG model. And, how low value is an IG model? I mean, think about it. It's a woman who posts themselves on the internet. All these, they scrunch it up and they have this big... They get surgery. I mean, I guess surgery is not bad in and of itself, but they get surgery just to look better on Instagram. They have a bunch of followers. They have an OnlyFans. They post themselves naked, etc. They're hot. Okay, they're hot. A lot of men, even men who are doing well for themselves, are either going out to DM them or getting a DM from them talking about, oh, basically sleep with me. I don't think they say that explicitly, but it's essentially insinuated, right? And they're like, wow, I'm going to do that. But in reality, the girl is low value. Yeah, she's hot, but what else does she have? For you to sleep with her, what does she have? Is she worth splitting your soul with? Can a girl... I'm going to ask you right now. Is a girl worthy of splitting your soul with just because she's hot? Really? Is she really? The answer should be no. And if the answer is yes, then you're a simp. Because guess what? Let's one-to-one this. Let's say we have a girl that's being super rude and let's actually be honest here, okay? Because splitting your soul is very valuable. Let's say a girl cheats on you, and she comes back. Then you're like, well, here's some flowers, honey. What are you gonna do? Oh, that guy's a simp. But then the guy comes to you and tells you, but she's really hot. That's a one-to-one example. That's the same exact thing, okay? You have been fed a lie. And the Christians do such a terrible... they do so bad at articulating this point, because when you ask them, hey, why should I wait until marriage? They say, well, you should wait until marriage because it's a sin not to. They're like, well, can I have any reason aside from that? They're like, because these people are over-reliant on the Bible. I know that sounds really bad to say, but it's true. Because God gave us the Bible as the baseline, the base guide, okay? From there, we have to reason things, because the Bible's not going to tell you what a simp is. Right? The Bible's not going to tell you about value exchange. It's going to tell you the basic command, okay? Wait until marriage. That's what it's going to tell you. It might even give you some verses about the consequences of not doing so, right? But it's not explicit. We don't understand it that well, because over time, the Bible was written a very long time ago. It's still as valid as it was when it was written, but our verbiage changes, the way we understand things change, right? Because of all these different things, you have to be able to reason. And I think God did this very intentionally. He gave us the baseline, and He gave us brains to reason. We aren't robots. Okay, we aren't puppets on strings. We can figure things out for ourselves. So when I see all these people, like, how Christian men can start a business and have a whiteboard behind them full of Bible verses, like, hey, the Bible doesn't tell you how to buy a domain. The Bible doesn't tell you how to start a Shopify store. The Bible doesn't tell you how to market on Instagram. That's for a reason. Because God gave you a brain to use. It's a very simple thing, right? But all the Christians are always like, oh, Bible, look, the Bible says this. The Bible says you should wait until marriage. And they can only explain to you what the Bible says, but they can't explain to you why it says it. What I did in this video is explain to you why it says it. So even now, even someone who doesn't believe in the Bible, even someone who's not a Christian, can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. And you know what? I think if you were to disregard Christianity, what I'm saying is still valid. This is a secular argument against sleeping with a bunch of women, and I thought that was impossible to create. Because the Christians couldn't convince me of it, the other people, all the people who seem to be, high value and whatnot, they were going against it, so the secular argument seemed dead. But I just made the argument. And I think it's a very strong argument. To me, it's ironclad. So guess what? Now that I understand, sleeping with this woman just because she's hot, or just because she gave me some attention, is simping, I don't really desire it anymore. I'm not really thinking about, I wish I could sleep with all these women. No, I don't care anymore. It's like, no. If I'm going to sleep with a woman, she's going to be perfect. Alright, she's going to be my girl. Forever. I'm going to look at her and I'm going to put a ring on her finger. I'm going to be with her forever. That's the only way I'm going to sleep with a girl. If I do anything less, then I simped. That's the mindset you need to have. When you have that mindset, it's much harder not to slip up. Because I don't have that desire anymore. I don't really care anymore. She's hot? Okay, cool. Whatever. Okay, maybe I'll date her. Maybe I'll look into her a little bit. But I'm certainly not going to sleep with her just because of that. So the takeaways are, your soul is valuable. Don't give it to some girl just because she's hot, or just because she was nice to you, or just because she'll give it up. Okay? And you know what's even worse, man? I see a lot of people, they're willing to split their souls with 5s, 5.5s, 5.5s with terrible personalities. You know who you are. Value yourself a little bit. And if you don't value, there's 2 ways of simping here. You can either not understand the soul-splitting value, or you can just say, well, it is a valid exchange because my soul isn't worth much. In that case, one, refer to what Jesus said, and two, you're also a simp. Okay, both ways of simping. Don't try squeaming out of it. So, this can still be applied even if you racked up a body count, because I know a lot of you have probably fell for the propaganda. You can still make it out, okay? And for the men, it's not as bad to have a high body count as a woman to have a high body count. It's not good, but it's not as bad, fortunately. And I'm going to make 2 more points, and I'm going to wrap up this video. Protect your virginity. And I know that sounds like a really funny phrase, like protect. Like if you go into GIFs tab, I was on Discord and I did this. You look up protect your virginity. You see like Boogie298 like playing with swords. You know, some really fat dude. It's like, oh yeah, oh, it's like a bunch of neckbeard atheists on Reddit, right? But that's because of the propaganda. Okay, I know protecting your virginity sounds like a really funny phrase, but again, I'm gonna ask you to look at it from another perspective. What if you went to a feminist circle and you said, we should protect our virginities? They're going to laugh at her too. It's the same thing. Alright? Don't fall for the peer pressure. Okay, reason. I think I gave a very logical, a very reasonable argument in this video. And I think it's true. 100% true. Now, also, don't be a virgin just because you can't get laid. Okay, I'm not telling you to be some loser here. You know, like, well, you can't get laid. You should be. The best type of man is not the man who can sleep with a bunch of girls and sleeps with a bunch of girls. The best type of man is the type of man who could sleep with as many girls as you want, but he only sleeps with one that he's married with. That's the best type of man. Okay? Be that man. So all that being said, Christian men need this. Alright? Christian men need to understand why to do things. Not just, oh, you should do this, but the why. Because the Bible is a very intelligently written book. We can understand it. To the level where you can make secular arguments for what the Bible says. That's how powerful it is. All that being said, build back Christian men. If you want to join the movement, join the link in the description. Check out the playlist in the description to see all my other videos that are important. Instagram, website, etc. Do all of it because I'm amazing. Subscribe for future videos. Those are my call to actions. See you next upload.